Hello, my dear listeners. It's good to have you back. Today, we're going to talk about e-commerce, dollars and cents, how to make money. Well, actually, I'm not going to go into the details of how to make money, but if you are selling products online, I'm going to give you an overview of the two major competitors in terms of competing platforms, Woocommerce and Shopify. My experience centers around Woocommerce, so I'm going to give you a little bit more details around the pros and the cons of using a platform like Woocommerce. And then towards the end of the episode, I will give you an overview of a comparative analysis of Woocommerce against Shopify. I'm not a huge power user of Shopify, but I have dipped into it enough that I feel like I have an understanding of how the platform works, and I could give a good comparison with Woocommerce, a platform that integrates with WordPress and a platform that is widely used on the internet for building e-commerce stores for small businesses to even large businesses. So let's get started in talking about this. It's a great episode. And then as a bonus, well, I don't know if I can call it a bonus, but at the end, I also give you my own verdict on which platform I think you should use and which platform brings you the biggest ROI in terms of a platform. So in order to get that verdict, though, you got to listen to the whole episode. It comes in towards the end, and I am not going to put any timestamps for those of you guys that like to jump between timestamps. So with that said, let's get started and talk about e-commerce, Woocommerce specifically, and compare it to Shopify. Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Silas Kimide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app once you've listened to one of our episodes. Today, we're going to talk about money. And when I say money, I mean e-commerce. And what I mean by e-commerce is we're going to talk about platforms that help you do e-commerce. So I guess in a way, we're going to talk about money, but indirectly. So what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about Woocommerce and contrast that a little bit with Shopify and help you maybe arrive at the right platform for your business. Recently, we launched a pretty big Woocommerce website, and I always enjoy those projects. They tend to be large, complex. There's a lot more problem solving involved, and I like those kinds of projects. You know, you can kind of try to get things done and all that kind of stuff. So Woocommerce, if you don't know what it is, it's a free plugin for WordPress, and it basically can turn your WordPress website into an e-commerce store. Right? So that's what Woocommerce does. It's used by, the latest numbers that I found, it's used by 6.7 million websites. So there's a lot of people using Woocommerce. And I personally have done about 1 or 2 Woocommerce websites a year. So I'm responsible for 10 of those, maybe 7 of those. I don't know, 8 of those. Anyway, not much of a dent there, but still, I've been involved in quite a few. One of the main things about Woocommerce is that it's free, right? It's a free plugin. You can just, if you've got a WordPress website, you can just install Woocommerce, get the settings going, and boom, you have a store. Well, it's not always that easy, but anyway, so in this episode, what I wanted to do was I wanted to explore the pros and the cons of using Woocommerce, and I want to compare it with at least one platform like Shopify. And I'm going to do that towards the end of the show. I want to talk a lot about the pros and the cons first, because A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about WooCommerce. I want to help you at least understand it. And then I also want to talk a little bit about how you can take advantage of WooCommerce as a small business owner or an entrepreneur or as a marketing manager. So, and then of course, at the end of the show, I'm going to give you my verdict, my take, my personal opinion. I'm going to try to shy away from that during the entire episode until the very end, which means you're going to have to listen if you're curious what I think about WooCommerce, especially when it comes to using it as compared to a platform like Shopify. So, all right, let's get started. So the first thing we want to talk about is the benefits of using WooCommerce. What are the pros? Obviously, I mentioned earlier, it's free. It's free in the sense that you don't have to pay for the platform, right? So if you've already got a WordPress website, which is kind of the downside because you need WordPress to use WooCommerce. So if you don't like the certain things about WordPress, then you can't use WooCommerce. So by default, when you say you're using WooCommerce, you have to like using WordPress. And I've done an episode on WordPress. Let me ask my production manager. Oh, by the way, I don't have a production manager. Anyway, I am the production manager. I don't have my list of, my list of past episodes here, so I can't really tell you, but I'm pretty sure I've talked about WordPress. I know I've talked about how Google loves WordPress from an SEO standpoint. So I don't know if I've ever talked about WordPress itself. That might be an interesting episode in and of itself. But so anyway, it's free. WooCommerce is free. You can just download the plugin, install it, and you're ready to go, right? And then you just have to follow the prompts, do the setup and all that kind of stuff. And that's where the work comes in, to be honest with you, is getting all the things set up and getting it all customized and all that kind of stuff. Which for the people that I've worked for, where I've done these WooCommerce websites, that's one of the main reasons why they're using it, is because it is highly, highly customizable. And you can use it on any WordPress theme, at least 99% of WordPress themes. I can't think of any WordPress theme that I've worked with where you cannot use WooCommerce. Maybe there are some. And if there are, and you're listening and you know one, just send me an email. And highly customizable. You can pretty much do anything you want with it, which is a beauty and also a disadvantage sometimes, right? Sometimes. So, but it also allows, it has all of the standard features, so it has, one other thing about it being free is WordPress doesn't take a cut of your revenue. So that could be a big thing. I know WooCommerce does not take a cut of your revenue. I know if you use a platform like Shopify and the other ones, they take a cut of your revenue. Not only that, you get a better deal if you use their payment processor. So something to think about. So it's free to use. WooCommerce is free. You can save money if you do it well. And WooCommerce doesn't take a cut of your revenue. I think that could be a pretty big selling point. That's a big selling point in my book. And then you host it yourself, right? Or you get your own host to host it, and you're not bound by where they're hosting it. And you own it. You own the thing. You own everything. You own every line of code. You own the content. You own everything. It's open source, man. And you don't have to worry. You can optimize it and take it, and you can put it on a different server. You can duplicate it. You can use it for another site. You can do whatever you want, man. That's the customization ability that is just awesome. And then the features, because it's so highly customizable, and there are 6.7 million installations, and there are hundreds of developers, and all of them under the freeware or shareware kind of philosophy, there are so many features that you could add to your website. You're going to customize the way your products look, customize the gateways, payment gateways, the shipping options, the tax management. You want to integrate it with this CRM, that CRM. You want to integrate it with this inventory system, that inventory system. I mean, the possibilities, to be honest with you, is endless. And, just like, going to the grocery store and seeing 700 different cereals to choose from, it can be an advantage, or it could be a disadvantage if you're indecisive and you don't know exactly what you want. So same problem here. So It's customizable. It has a wide range of features. It's free to use. What's not to like about it? Well, we'll get to that. But before we get to that, some of the features that I like are the reviews and star ratings. I mean, you can get all that stuff set up. Customized emails that can go out based on, how people, the email that goes out can be customized. You can also run your affiliate website on your e-commerce platform. So that's kind of cool. So I don't know that you can do that in other ones. So anyway, there's a lot of benefits to having, that in one place. So the benefits that I see is it's free. It doesn't charge you for your revenue, a cut of your revenue. There's a lot of features that are available. It's customizable, and the reviews and ratings are awesome. And so there's so many features you could use. And then you can use the same site for e-commerce and affiliate. And I've been on projects where we've done all kinds of things where, you can, provide people a login, and then wholesaler and retail pricing is different based on the login. There's all kinds of things you could do. So it can be very, very profitable and useful for a business. All right. I don't want to oversell it right now. So let's talk about the drawbacks of using WooCommerce. Well, one of the main drawbacks, I guess, is the wide range of choices, right? And the wide range of plugins. And then the main drawback for some people could be that in order to use WooCommerce, you have to use WordPress, right? It needs WordPress in order for it to function. So anyway, you can't just plug this into another site. So that could be a major drawback if you don't like WordPress. And then it's a little bit more difficult to use, meaning it does require, because of how much it tries to do, the user interface and everything like that isn't always that intuitive. And there is a steeper learning curve, meaning it's going to take you a while to get used to how to use the system. That could be that could be a major drawback, right? Some of the other systems I've looked at, very plug and play, setups are pretty easy. I mean, it does get complicated if you have different things you're adding and there's complicated features you want to add into it. But WordPress and WooCommerce are at another level, I think. I mean, they're pretty difficult to use. I mean, I've been using it for years, so I don't really think about it. But sometimes when somebody that has just started using it asks me a question about, where do you find this? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do, why is this not working? In my mind, I can see where they can go, but it's so hard to communicate that. So you have to get on a screen share and actually show it to them, which isn't bad. I mean, once you learn it, right? I mean, anyway. So, so those are the main things, I think. I mean, from a drawbacks perspective, you also, the maintenance part of it can be just like WordPress. You got to maintain it yourself, plugin updates, WordPress updates. You got to host it on your own server. What I mean by own is you can host it just like any other website, and you're responsible for it. So the WordPress updates, WooCommerce updates, you need to apply those, and those can get tricky. Sometimes there's a few years ago, there was a major update to WooCommerce in the way they treated databases and all that kind of stuff. It required a major update. It was a major update, but the only thing that you had to keep in mind is you have to back up your site before you do those updates. And then if something goes wrong, you have to know how to fix it before you go live with it, So that can be a hassle, but I guess the upside to that, I don't know if there's an upside, or one way to balance that out would be, there are lots of developers out there that can help you with this kind of work. You can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upworthy, you can go to Odesk, all these places where you can find freelancers. Maybe there'll be a WooCommerce, WordPress freelancer that can help you fix errors and issues. Not too expensive, fairly reliable. So I don't really view the maintenance part as being too much of a barrier to using it. But, you couple that in with the fact that you're a busy person running your own business and doing all that kind of stuff, it may not be something that you're wanting to take on. So anyway, so that's a major downside. I think I covered all the drawbacks. I said requires a WordPress website. It can be difficult to use. Just the sheer volume of options and things that you could do just can be overwhelming. And then obviously keeping it updated, having to host it, and all that kind of stuff can add some cost to your side of the house. But there's also benefits, right? So you got to figure out what's best for you. All right, so we talked about the pros, we talked about the cons. I want to talk a little bit about Shopify now, because Shopify is the one that seems to come up a lot against WooCommerce because they're at the same level. I mean, these systems are not like Amazon is not running off of this, right? So BigCommerce are some of the other ones. There's other e-commerce platforms, much more sophisticated, more complicated, more costly, and all that kind of stuff. But for people that I work with, they're a small business. They have a web store. They need to ship products online. And mostly I come across Shopify and I come across WooCommerce. We tend to do work on WooCommerce because we're a WordPress shop. And so we do WordPress and WooCommerce where I work. But we do come across Shopify. And there's a couple of things. I mean, I'm a little bit, I don't know that I would say prejudiced against Shopify, but I've had to support Shopify websites in the past, and it's been a little bit challenging for us for a number of reasons, but we'll get to that. But let's talk about pros. So, well, Shopify has over 2 million active users, over 1.75 million merchants, and over 2.29 million live websites using its platform, right? So those users have multiple, they could be merchants, they could be the live website. There's probably a couple of people that have maybe more than one or two sites. That's probably why that 2 million active users, but I don't know how they got those numbers. I just saw that online on the hostingpel.com website. I trust them. They're on the internet. They've got to be worthy, right? Trustworthy. Anyway, let's talk about the pros. Let's talk about the pros. Okay, where's my pros? There's my pros. Basically, the main thing that Shopify has going for itself is it's an all-in-one solution. So you don't have to worry about anything. Pay the fee, design your site, upload your products, and boom, you're in business. Literally that fast. A lot of stuff is pre-built in. You don't have to worry about updates. You don't have to worry about anything. It's an all-in-one solution for easy setup. You don't have to worry about hosting. They host it for you. They take care of security. They're the ones that you can call them for support, and you can, add there's a store, Shopify plugin store, I think. And then it has tons of apps, just like WordPress has plugins, lots of apps that you can use. It does offer quite a few. There's a lot of templates that they offer. And lots of sales tools, analytics tools. So there's quite a bit there. I mean, it's genuinely a great solution, in my opinion. Oh, the large app store has over 6,000 apps in it. So if you want to, I don't know, figure out how to do taxes in all 50 states, I know there's a plugin called TaxJar for WooCommerce. Maybe there's something like that. I'm sure within one of those 6,000 apps, there's one of those apps for a Shopify site. But it has excellent customer support. I've dealt with their customer support in the past for different things, and they do get back to you. They do provide solutions, and they're a great company in that regards. Now let's get to the cons, right? So those are the pros, legit pros, man, legit pros. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a made up set of pros. I mean, Shopify is definitely a good system. The cons, right? So the con is you have to pay monthly. I mean, and the monthly fee is more than just a hosting cost that you would pay for like WordPress or WooCommerce. So you have to pay a monthly fee, which can add up quickly because some of those apps that I mentioned to you are not free. So you would have to um, pay for them. So let's say you want a specific shipping app. You'd have to pay a monthly fee for that. Let's say you want a specific type of sequence of events that needs to occur. You got to pay for that as well. So the costs do add up quickly, and then they also charge on your, they take a cut of your transaction, right? So the costs do add up very quickly. So that's something to keep in mind. You probably need to do some math on that, depending on what kind of system you're using. Because you're spending maybe a few $100s a month on some of these things, and then you're paying a certain percentage of your monthly revenue or the stuff that you sell on there. You could be looking at several $1,000s a month that you're spending just for the e-commerce store. And let me tell you, Woocommerce and WordPress would never would not reach that level of cost. So that's something to and the other thing about that is your transaction fees. You got to use Shopify payments. If you use Shopify payments, then you can save some money, but otherwise the transaction fees do add up. And then sometimes I found their pricing plans to be confusing, especially me as a new user. It can get a little confusing. It can be a little difficult to understand and know exactly what you're paying for and why and all that kind of stuff. So there's that. Those are the cons. So now to bring it all home, you've been listening this long, so you're probably wondering, what do I think about it? Well, you got to hold on a little bit longer, right? We're almost there. Don't worry. We're almost there. So in conclusion, let's do a compare and contrast, right? Let's do a compare and contrast. So WooCommerce is a free plugin for WordPress with a wide range of features and is highly customizable. It allows customers to create reviews with star ratings and shop owners to moderate and reply to them. It can run both an e-commerce and an affiliate site under one roof. Shopify is an all-in-one e-commerce platform that offers easy setup, hosting, security support, and apps. It also has a large app store with over 6,000 apps that can help you customize your store. We don't talk about cost here, right? So that's going to be dependent on you, right? Small business owners who choose WooCommerce over Shopify say they do it because it's free and it's highly customizable and has a large community of users who can provide support and guidance. However, the Shopify people who use it, they choose it because it's easy to use, secure, and offers stunning templates and has really good sales tools, right? So basically, the choice between WooCommerce and Shopify is going to depend on your business need and preference. So where do I stand? Well, from an ease and efficiency standpoint, Shopify, right? From an ease and efficiency standpoint, you've got 30 products to sell. You don't want to deal with the hassles of the website. You need it up. You need it to get going, and you'll deal with the rest afterwards. And the cost is worth it to you. So from a control, flexibility, and cost perspective, WooCommerce, no question about it. You have much more control over all the things that you can do. And then you have a lot of customizations available, and the cost is definitely worth it because it's free. And, it's just the cost of hosting. And then obviously when I say free, don't forget that you do need to set it up. So, but then again, Shopify needs to be set up too. So I think it's a wash there. But most people I talk to, I recommend WooCommerce, hands down. I recommend WooCommerce because, it's kind of like renting versus owning, in my opinion. I don't like to rent. I feel like when I'm on Shopify, I'm just renting. I'm renting their platform for my store, and that's all it is. And then I don't have control over it. Something, if they don't like me, they can just kick me off, man. I'm not joking. Some of these web stores, some of these providers, you got to read some of their statements. Maybe you're selling stuff that they don't agree with. Maybe you're selling items that they don't like, or maybe you made a social media post about something that they don't like and you're cut off. I'm not joking. After the Canadian truckers and what they did to the Canadian truckers and even the people that donated to Canadian truckers, I just don't trust these guys anymore. And the only way to get around it is to use something like Woocommerce and WordPress, which is free, and all you need is a hosting account. And most hosting providers, if they kick you off of a hosting provider, you could literally go and buy a server, set it up, pay a guy, and keep the store going. You know what I mean? So anyway, that might be my paranoia side creeping in, but maybe I'll edit that out because I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression. I'm not a paranoid guy. But anyway, so that's kind of the discussion for today. Today we talked about WooCommerce. I wanted to give you an overview of WooCommerce. I wanted to give you an idea of what it is, what it does, and who it's right for, and the main advantages, disadvantages of WooCommerce, and then compare that to a platform like Shopify, and then give you my verdict, which I did. I gave you my verdict. I gave you my thoughts. I even gave you a tangent response of what you should be looking out for. So anyway, that's all I got for today. It's been a great episode of learning about WooCommerce. So with that, I leave you and I say go and market your business, sell products, and prosper. If you're a small business owner, a marketer in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. You'll become better educated and informed when it comes to digital marketing. And if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I discuss in this podcast, your business will grow and prosper. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. You can also search for Corner Your Market in Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast, and you can subscribe through those apps. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review. Finally, I would love to hear from you, so if you have any questions, feedback, or general comments about the topics I discuss, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.